everyone, it's time to talk about The Mandalorian once again. We are at episode 5, The Jedi. This is the episode a lot of people have been waiting for, especially if they saw the trailer, and after getting that information about a certain Clone Wars character being in this franchise. Yeah, this is the episode where we get to meet her. At the beginning, we see Ahsoka is dealing with a local governance that seems to be controlled by the Empire, and kicking some major amounts of butt. And of course, the Mandalorian with the child are sent there from previous episodes, being told to do so by Bo-Katan, and try to find Ahsoka to learn more about the child and to learn more about what the Jedi are, as, you know, the Mandalorian, being a foundling, has almost no idea what they are at all, outside a group of sorcerers who the Mandalorians have fought on many occasions. Time for the spoilers. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, my gosh. Okay. This is a great episode that reveals quite a bit. This is our first real story episode in quite some time. And what we get here is a lot of things going on. First off, Ahsoka has returned to this planet to try to liberate their people because they're, of course, being controlled, and looking for some other information, which is revealed to be a nice little name drop of Grand Admiral Thrawn. While some people might think this will tie into the season finale, I think this is going to be a season 3 or season 4 plot point. Possibly if they get enough spin-offs of The Mandalorian going, using it as some sort of Avengers-style kind of crossover event thing where every character from all the various things can team up to battle Thrawn. It'd be cool, it'd be nice to see him not only get a live-action version after all these years, but more importantly, to kind of see him get that real threat to the galaxy level status that he deserves from the original books. As much as I liked him in Rebels, and I loved the voice they chose for him, which just had this odd kind of mix of accents to make him sound more unique and allow the Chiss to be something more than just, you know, blue-skinned humans, he never felt like a large enough threat. Like, he was just given this, like, side task of dealing with a planet that no one cares about and produce some new, you know, to produce the TIE Defender, which then, you know, fails, sadly. And then that's kind of all his role in Rebels really is, but we know that there's going to be a lot more there because obviously not only has it been a set of time since the end of Rebels, probably about 10 or so years, but more than that, if Thrawn's still alive, Ezra could still be alive, and this could be a very huge title shift for how the universe of Star Wars is going to build from this point forward. However, Ahsoka doesn't get that information, which is a huge bummer, but she does liberate the town with the help of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is, of course, there, immediately asked, hey, you're a Mandalorian, kill this Jedi for me, and I'll give you a Beskar spear. And he doesn't quite agree for it, he just wants the information for where Ahsoka is, which leads him to Ahsoka, which leads to our big reveal of this episode that made the internet go on fire and people freak out because it is one of the best parts. We're revealed that the child's name is Goku, and he is from a planet called Vegeta, and he is a... Sorry, wrong information. His name is Grogu. Man, that's way less cooler than Goku. Though now I want to just see, like, the child wearing, like, the orange gi. Is that weird? That's probably weird. Anyhow, Grogu is the child's name. I will continue referring to him as the child, as Grogu is kind of a stupid name, but feels like something Lucas would have come up with. I get the feeling Filoni went up and said, hey, so what's the kid's name? I don't know. How about Grogu? That's like an alien name, right? And Dave Filoni was like, yeah, that sounds alien. Grogu it is. But whatever. What we do learn is that he was actually at the temple prior to the end of the Clone Wars, that he had been receiving training, that he has then been hidden away and moved from place to place, that the child itself is keeping his powers hidden, and Ahsoka realizes that she cannot train him to be a Jedi because he's grown too attached to the Mandalorian, and sees the Mandalorian like a father, which is kind of, you know, how you kind of saw the development of the relationship, you know, thus far anyways, as kind of a father and child kind of thing. This leads to some interesting points, because she tries to get Grogu to move a stone out of her hand, and he doesn't really want to do it, and the Mandalorian, he pulls out a little knick-knack he was trying to grab and gets him to actually use his powers, which means the Mandalorian now has a general idea of how to train the child to know how to use the Force to some extent, with having almost no real knowledge of the religion itself, just knowing it's some sort of magical thing that certain people can do, and this child happens to be one of those certain people. We got no new information about the homeworld. We got basically told, hey, there's a temple out in the middle of nowhere. If you can go there, it can send out a beacon to other Jedi. Maybe another Jedi will be willing to take him on and train him, which could lead us to, again, a few really interesting things. First off, Ezra's still out there. Secondly, there's someone called Luke Skywalker who's still out there. Now, I feel a little weird about a different actor playing a young Luke, but considering we have the de-aging technology now to kind of deepfake stuff, I wouldn't mind Mark Hamill being brought back, cleaned up, and made to look like the proper Luke Skywalker we would see 5 years after the end of the rebellion. It'd be a very cool moment either way. It could also introduce completely new Jedi characters who have also survived Order 66, which would be interesting to see who would actually show up, because anyone we were really introduced to in the Clone Wars, we more or less know is dead. So we had a whole lot of directions there to try to explore later on. This episode was just really, really good. Well, I think The Siege was actually a better episode because the action sequences are just better in The Siege. There's some great moments here when, especially Ahsoka going around and just hacking and slashing everyone to pieces. Although there are a few little moments that did kind of annoy me. Ahsoka is struggling against the Magistrate, and the Magistrate has a Beskar spear, and it shows that Beskar does hold off Jedi lightsabers, which we already knew if you watched the Clone Wars, or any kind of previous universe material. However, I don't feel like some random magistrate should be able to hold her own against Ahsoka Tano, the apprentice of Darth Vader. Excuse me, Anakin Skywalker. She feels like skill feels like that should be a huge gap. That's kind of up there with in the Clone Wars episode when the one guy from Death Watch has the Darksaber and he's battling against Obi-Wan and he's holding his own against Obi-Wan, and I'm like, the guy can perceive your movements and can psychically kind of tell what you're going to do, and you're so skilled you can hold your own with him? Are you kidding me? Now, I could believe a Mandalorian doing that, even though it still felt a little like, okay, either Obi-Wan isn't as good as I thought he was, or this guy is that level of awesome. But some rando, I don't care if you're part of Thrawn's entourage, Eli, Pelion, could never hold their own with a Jedi in a fight. Not in a million years. You can't tell me that he randomly has one person who, what? Does the Magistrate know Taras Kasai? Is that what this is? Did we bring Taras Kasai back? Does anyone remember that? It's a stupid fighting game, and they did reference it in Solo, so I guess it is still a thing.
Yes.
I'm just saying that felt really stupid. That should have been one of those ones where the character looks really cool, and it should have been more of an Indiana Jones moment of Ahsoka just tossing her lightsaber, cutting that person's head off, catching her lightsaber back. The body falls down, and goes like, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? I'm a freaking Jedi. Or former Jedi. But Ahsoka also wants information about Thrawn, which, as we said before, nothing was given. Just a name drop, so just take that for what it is. However, there is kind of a cooler moment where one of the bodyguards is there with Mandalorian, and they're just talking back and forth about, who's going to win this, and you get one of those kind of little quick draw moments. That was pretty cool. But overall, outside of the lore stuff that we were given, I didn't find this episode to be a really exciting, episode. Getting the name was even kind of a letdown, because I'm like, ooh, Grogu, that's a Lucas name right there. That is a George Lucas style name. Congratulations. Congratulations. All children everywhere. But that being said, this does give the Mandalorian a new goal, because of course this is an RPG where you gotta finish a quest to get to a different quest, to get to a different quest, and completing the Ahsoka quest has now sent him to, you need to find this temple in this other world and hope to find a Jedi that way. I'm assuming that's going to be our 2-part season finale. Probably Gideon's gonna show up and, throw down a bit. And I get the feeling episode 6 is going to be filler, probably him maybe grabbing a team beforehand, but probably not. Probably just running into a character we've already seen this season who's asking for help. I think it might be the Marshal, primarily because, one, you don't just get Timothy Olyphant for one episode. You get him for more than that. He's Deadwood, man. But 2, we keep getting these hints at Boba Fett, and I think it's time for Boba Fett to make an appearance. So I would very much believe that the next episode will probably be something bringing Boba Fett back into the limelight, or possibly having Starbucks and her Mandalorian friends teaming up with Mando to do another job. I think it's going to be something along those lines, just kind of build the relationships between those characters before we go towards our finale at Temple Planet. Overall, I think this is more exciting for what it could lead to in future possibilities than really being an exciting episode in of itself. And oftentimes a story-driven episode that's there to build the lore and build the world is not always the most exciting episode, but has information that's really, really, really important, because otherwise we can't move the story forward. While I have a preference to action-packed episodes like The Siege or the Tremors episode at the season opener, episodes like this are super necessary and still get me pretty excited for what's going to come into our finale, and more importantly, a potential season 3 or season 4 with Thrawn as an ongoing antagonist. That would be amazing. Heck, I'd be down for a Thrawn spin-off series if they give it to me. I doubt they will. But we have a lot of possibilities here, and it's cool seeing Filoni and Favreau build the Star Wars universe kind of in a natural, interesting way that will hopefully lead to bigger and better things down the line with more different series, spin-offs, what have you. Been an exciting season, getting near the finale. Let's see what happens. Tell me what you thought about this episode in the comments. Like and subscribe. It only takes a few seconds for you, but it's really helpful to channels like mine that are small and really trying to reach an audience. And until next time, remember, this is the way.